Getting on serious topics, did you see the whole lawsuit regarding like deceptive trailers?
Yeah, I think we talked about this.
We haven't talked about it. We were going to talk about it last podcast, but we never got around to it.
Oh. Yeah, I saw something about that. I did.
What is that something?
I think I saw it with Marvel and how they kind of hide stuff in the trailers, or they show something that's not really in the movies to kind of throw people off.
Well, not exactly. That's what people were like taking this lawsuit that's going on and being like, "Oh, this is what's going to happen."
Yeah.
But so from what I understand the situation, there was a movie that came out somewhat recently, maybe like 2021 or something. Not really a movie for me. It had to do with like some dude ended up like in some timeline where everyone didn't know the Beatles existed or some shit. Sorry, cussed again. Making you work. But I think it was called Yesterday. And on one of the trailers that came out, they had Ana de Armas. You know who that is?
Mm-hmm.
They had her like in one shot. And apparently she was in the movie, but they ended up editing all the scenes that she was in out. So some people that were fans of hers went and rented a movie for $3 and because they saw that she was in it in the trailer.
Yeah.
And then she wasn't in it. So then they sued Universal Studios, as one does, for $3.
For $3? Wow.
No, they sued for more, but you know.
Yeah, but like
still
you
over
paid $3. Yeah, get over yourself.
But the thing that it kind of goes back into the annoying thing about media in general with like headlines. So people went around saying like, "Oh, you can now sue regarding misleading trailers." But the thing is, the case is still ongoing. So I looked into the case a little bit. I can only get so far into it because I don't feel like paying for pleadings. Because, you know,
yeah,
we're not that kind of podcast anyways.
Yeah.
But within the case, they had filed a motion to strike, which basically... So this is going on in U.S. District Court. So they call all their different pleadings and stuff different things. But basically, it's similar to within general civil court that you would deal with at a lower level court. You had something called a motion for default judgment. Yeah, default judgment. Basically, it's the defendant files for the judge, like basically laying an argument for the judge to say, "Hey, just throw this shit out. There's no reason for this case." Like they don't have an argument. So they filed the U.S. District version of that basically. And the judge ruled against it. So the case is going to continue on. But people heard that news and took it as, "Oh, they won the lawsuit. You can sue for deceptive trailers."
Yeah.
Like the media does.
Yeah.
They just put a crazy headline out for clicks.
Yeah.
So people started running around with that. And then that's why you got like those Marvel discussions.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't see them winning this case. It's hard to. So it's like she was in the movie, but they edited her out. You can't go back and edit trailers that you already uploaded. Like, what if they were just intended to have her in the movie? But
well, it also goes back into just the history of the trailers in general in the first place. So many times that movies will just completely change after trailers out.
Really, I can't remember. I don't know of one trailer that was just like totally different from the movies.
I saw someone lay out like the history of this. Like it's a thing that's gone on forever, but
Really?
I don't really pay attention to things like that.
Yeah. I see trailers and I can see the tone being different with the movies. But yeah, it's nothing like totally crazy or different than you would need to sue movie studios for. So I don't see this being a thing, really.
Yeah, I don't think they'll win the case. I think Universal Studios will win it. I just think supposedly because I'm not paying for the pleadings because you have to first create a login with it's called Pacer. It's like public access to hold on. Pacer public access to court electronic recordings. There we go. You have to pay for that, and you have to pay for every single pleading you pull. Mm-hmm. So I don't feel like doing all that. I could probably read all through it and figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But supposedly just the argument they laid out was kind of stupid.
Yeah.
I think they just did a horrible job with their argument. They try to argue the fact of like free speech for the trailer should be covered under free speech. And it's like, no, you should argue the fact of whenever you make your trailers, you don't always know how the movie's going to end up being.
Yeah.
And they could have probably won on that.
Yeah.
But they try to argue free speech.
Interesting.
And it's like, not the strongest argument.
Yeah.
And that's why it got struck down. And they're going to continue with Discovery and all that.
Mm.
I think I saw, let me look at this docket I found. I think it looks like they have a hearing set for April 3rd. I don't know if that's the final hearing or not. But it's some hearing.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I don't know that much about U.S. District Court because don't typically deal with that.
But it makes sense why studios could be sued for false advertising.
I think that's what they're trying to argue, but
Yeah.
it still goes down to whenever you're releasing trailers and such. It's like,
Yep.
we changed the movie.
Yeah, that's a good argument, but you can also argue, did you change it or did you put in this actor to get, fans of this actor or actress to come see the movie?
Well, at that time, she wasn't that big. 'Cause
Mm.
after that movie came out, I think is when more of her, like when the James Bond movie came out.
Mm.
And that's really what blew up her stock.
Yeah, but it is important, I don't know, to come out with the right.
But it also comes down to, I think, part of like the deceptive, using that wording means like you purposely misled.
Yeah, and it's hard to
They would have to
Prove
you have
that.
to prove that they specifically
Yeah.
did that on purpose.
yeah, and it's going to be hard to prove. Even if they did do it on purpose, it's going to be hard to prove.
Yeah, it's still gonna be hard to
Yeah.
prove.
Yeah. So essentially, movie studios could put for example,
Yeah, they can put it. They're just gonna probably going forward just putting disclaimers.
yeah,
That's probably the big outcome from this is movie studios just to cover their ass. They're gonna start putting disclaimers at the end of trailers,
yeah,
basically saying like, "Oh, things are subject to change."
yeah, yeah, and it makes sense. And they should have been doing that.
Here's an example: Rogue One. There's so much shit in that trailer that's not in the movie.
Yeah, it's a lot of Marvel movies that are like that too.
Well,
That-
the Rogue One thing had to come down to they redid the movie so many times.
Really?
Like they had to keep bringing in different people to overhaul it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like for example, Spider-Man No Way Home. In the trailer there was a shot of
Yeah.
the 3 Spider-Mans that was in the movie, but they edited them out for the trailers to not get people to know that there are 3 Spider-Mans in the movie.
Even though it was kind of obvious.
Yeah, even though it's kind of obvious.
Because like in that clip, it's just like, oh, other people got kicked by invisible people
Yeah.
in the air.
But that was a trailer for that released in like overseas somewhere, and someone found it and was like, "Hey, this person's getting hit by air. What is going on here?" But yeah, so it makes sense why people were upset and would want to sue for that. But it also it's going to be hard to prove, and it probably won't amount to anything, except for maybe a disclaimer. So yeah, that's our conclusion.
Is that how you wrap it up? And that's our conclusion.